Let's find a job. Let's do it. Actually, that's a pretty good one. It's a little bit of money. It's a little bit of distance. Alexa, stop. I'll be listening to myself yell at Alexa later when I'm editing. Hey everybody, Old Guy Gamer, American Truck Sim. You know how it goes. If you watched my last video, you know I was not very happy. It was a short video to explain why I was so angry. So today we're going to try and remake the video that I neglected to press record on that resulted in the angry video last time. So stick around, I'm going to go pick up this trailer and we're headed to, well, we're in Oxnard, California. We're headed to Oakland. Give me just a sec. When I ended up at that last spot, it was because I picked up something here. And now here I am back, picking up another trailer. So I sat down to record last week, and I was going to do a marathon session where I record a couple of videos at the same time. So I sat down and I talked about treehouses. I sat down and I talked about, what was the second one? Oh, the new book I got from my wife for Christmas about useless information. And I recorded the whole video, and then I talked the whole time. It was a pretty good video, and then I stopped and went to turn off my recording software and realized I had never pressed record or start or whatever, so not a good day. So the last video I recorded was the response to me not pressing record for that long marathon session. So now I'm gonna sit down and try and redo the magic that happened in that recording session that I didn't record. So let me get this trailer hooked up and we'll hit the road. Alright, I got my strawberry Pop-Tart. I'm only down to about a third of a cup of coffee, so I might have to make a pit stop on the way up to Oakland, but hey, the truck matches the trailer. I did make a little difference. I did change the paint job a little bit. You notice there's a little bit of yellow flake in that paint job. I used to have a yellow base coat with a red top coat and then silver or clear, like silver metal flake in the paint job. Well, now I went with a red base coat, red top coat, and then the yellow flake. So you can see the yellow on the bends of the cab, see? I don't know. I don't hate it, so I'm living with it. Let's hit the road. We could do a tug test. I've seen some other guys do that on YouTube. We're in drive, we're in forward, brakes are off. I'm just gonna hit the trailer brake here. See that little thing moving? That's the trailer brake. And then I hit the gas. See, nothing happens. That means we're connected. Let's go. Let me know if I did that wrong, you professional truck drivers out there. I'll try and do it right. Actually, I didn't check the height of the kingpin before I made the connection with the truck and the trailer. That might have to be a thing now. I've been pretending to do it on this game, but I've never had to adjust the suspension on the truck. But I did just have a trailer where it wouldn't let me back underneath it for the first time ever. So I had to assign a couple of buttons to adjust the suspension on the truck, the air suspension, so that I could lower it and then back under the trailer that was waiting for me. That's a common thing in Euro Truck Sim, but I've never had to do that in American Truck Sim until the last video I did. So I've been trying to get this whatever. Well, take a look at this map. So I'm delivering to Lieb Herr in, I thought it said Oakland. Yeah, let's go back and look. Yeah, it says Oakland, Lieb Herr, but if I look at the map, this Lieb Herr is like way up by San Francisco. I've been trying to get the achievement for delivering to the port in both San Francisco and Oakland. I thought Lieb Herr would be on, it said Oakland, Lieb Herr, so Oakland, Lieb Herr. I thought this would be the ocean one, but no, it's the wrong Lieb Herr. I bet I'm going to not get that achievement again. But there is a scenic viewpoint or something up there, so we'll be able to check that out today. Anyways, let me get on the highway and then we'll start talking about treehouses. Actually, let me read it. We're literally sitting at a stop sign. Alright, here's my little talking point. As an adult, I guess that's the key point in this one. As an adult, would you ever want a treehouse or dollhouse? If so, describe it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Dollhouses and treehouses. I was actually not going to talk about dollhouses, but There is one specific instance where I might actually want a dollhouse, so I'll explain. Let me go get on the highway. I know this isn't that long of a truck, but I scraped a brand new tractor on this tree the last time I pulled out of here. So we're gonna make sure we don't do that today. Now that we're blocking all the lanes, we can hop in and drive the right way. One of these days I'm gonna have to buy a gear shift and add to the realism of my trucking experience. I do know they make automatic transmissions for trucks like this, but I'm kind of forced into choosing automatic because of my hardware setup missing a gear shifter. I wonder if they make a force feedback gear shifter. A lot of people who play this game talk about floating gears. I actually know how to float gears because I used to drive a truck, a straight truck, 33-foot Freightliner FL 60, I think it was, and I used to float gears. It's not difficult. Once you feel how to float gears in an actual truck and you feel what the gear shift feels like when you're kind of lightly applying that pressure to change the gear, it's easy to figure out when you can feel it, but it's kind of hard to describe. I don't know how you'd get that feeling into a video game though, with a piece of plastic that doesn't have force feedback. It would be really cool if you could find a gear shifter for this game that has force feedback. Maybe they could start the process of showing people how it feels to float gears. I spent the last video only talking about tree houses, and it's a fine line of distinction between treehouse and cabin, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's get the dollhouse conversation out of the way. I'm not really interested in owning a dollhouse unless I could find one that exactly matches the house that I'm currently living in. And it doesn't matter what my house is right now, whatever house I'm living in at the time. If I could get a dollhouse that matched my actual house, that would be the only way I would want a dollhouse. I wouldn't even play with it. It would just be cool to have, I don't know, on a shelf somewhere maybe. I don't know what I would do with a dollhouse like that, but that would be the only way I would want one. But tree houses, yes, I would definitely want a tree house as an adult. I do not think I would be able to put up with just a rickety old crap shack of a tree house up in a tree like you would build as a kid. I think as an adult, I would have to go with a real good quality treehouse. I would have to have an adult quality style treehouse. I wouldn't want a little I just wouldn't want a crap shack, that's all. Where's my gas at? There it is. Yeah, I'm okay there. The adult treehouse would probably have to be a lot like the ones I used to watch. This, I don't know what the show's called, but there was a show where a guy in the Pacific Northwest, his whole business was building cabins, not cabins, tree houses for people. And the first thing they would do is they would pick a good spot with the trees that are in the right locations, which I would imagine takes some time to learn. His eye of experience probably helps him find the right trees, but the first step they would do when they started building would be to drill holes through the dead wood of the tree and put these pins in, which hold your beams that hold up your floor plan. They set on those pins that are driven through the dead wood of the tree. I'm like, that's pretty cool. If I was just building a tree house, I probably wouldn't have thought to do that kind of thing. So I'm sure I'd have to investigate it and make sure it's sturdy and dependable and not gonna fall in on me as I get up there and pretending I'm a kid in a treehouse. I actually always thought it would be really cool to have I've always wanted to rent a treehouse, like as a VRBO or a Airbnb or something like that. If you know of a treehouse that's for rent in one of those situations, please leave a comment. I typically don't like to say leave a comment because it sounds like I'm urging interaction, like forcing interaction that isn't really necessary. But if you know of a treehouse that's for rent to stay in, please leave a link in my comments. I always have trouble finding that kind of thing. I wish there was just a button on VRBO where you could be like, distinctive properties. Like a treehouse or a airplane that was turned into a home, you know, that kind of thing. I always thought it would be cool to have a treehouse on my property that I could rent out as a Airbnb or a VRBO as a like vacation experience. It's kind of, I equate it kind of like the tiny house movement, where everyone wants to live tiny and reduce their carbon footprint and all that stuff. I mean, I always thought it'd be cool to have like a couple of tree houses and just rent them out, give people their privacy, get them a unique experience to enjoy living in a tree for a couple of nights and make some money in the process. Oh, I'm not going to be able to move over for Scott's Law. One of my buddies says it's funny when I do Scott's Law little pop-ups. I'm only doing 24. I don't think I'm going to hurt anybody. The other thing I would settle for if I couldn't build an adult treehouse would be a cabin. I watch these videos on YouTube of these guys who build these off-grid cabins in the middle of the woods. And if they have power, it's based on solar. If they have water, it's based on, what do they call those, reservoirs or cisterns. If I couldn't have a treehouse, I would settle for a cabin. I'm always fascinated by those guys who build their cabins in the woods, and man, I could watch those videos. I don't know about for the rest of my life, but I could watch those videos for a long time. Those things are interesting. I always wondered if those guys that build their cabins in the middle of the woods have a plan for if something bad happens. Like you see them out there with their chainsaws cutting down trees and hewing these logs and doing all this work. What happens if you break a leg and the only thing out there is your dog? Yeah, I know. I was just about to hit the button. Ugh. If I was going to get a treehouse, though, it would have to be something suitable for my wife. So it'd have to be something that was insulated, and it doesn't have to be airtight like a modern home, but, you know, windows and a roof that doesn't leak. So she could put some nice pillows in there. I'll let her add her touch to it to make it nice and comfortable. Really, I just want to say I slept in a treehouse. Something with a view would be a bonus. You know, a tree on the edge of a clearing or something. Yeah, the thing about that show with the treehouse builders, they didn't build in one tree. They would build on groups of trees. That's what I meant about him having the experience to be able to pick out the right trees for building a treehouse. He would pick out 3 or more trees to put those pins through, and then kind of triangulate the floor plan, the base for his floor plan. That's what I would look for. And even if it was just a big deer stand in the trees, it's better than nothing. I'll take a deer stand in the trees, just a platform with a railing maybe. You could sleep in there. Anyways, let me know, leave in the comments if you know of a rental treehouse, because I would like to stay in one. I think the biggest pitfall would be the lack of a bathroom. I do know they have like composting toilets and stuff like that, but I would think that most people wouldn't want to pay for a rental experience and then poop on some sawdust. But the price you pay for the experience. I do remember finding a treehouse for rent one time. I don't remember if it was I don't remember what site it was on, but I did see a treehouse for rent. But it was a horrible situation, I thought. It was a treehouse. I mean, it was a legit treehouse. But you had to park in the person's driveway. It was like in a subdivision. You had to park in the person's driveway, and it was in their backyard next to the pool. And they're like, oh, you have a private entrance. Well, you just go through the fence on the side of the house, and you could walk straight to your treehouse. And then the whole time you're just like sleeping in their backyard, which I guess is, I mean, backyard camping is a thing. I get it. I've done that with my kids in the past. It's not a big deal, but that wasn't really the treehouse overnight experience that I was looking for. I would rather have a treehouse in the middle of the woods. I guess I thought that was kind of understood, but I should say it just so people understand. I don't really want a treehouse in a backyard with 60 houses in view. Well, should I stop because it's dark? The benefit to stopping is I get to bypass. All right. The benefit to stopping is I make a lot of money while I'm sleeping. It also means I get to drive during the daytime, which is, you know, better scenery. You can actually see what you're looking at. I would just push through. I've already made enough mistakes on this drive, drifting into the lane next to me. I would like to just put this trip behind me. One little thing like that just ruined the whole trip for me. One little drift into the next lane means this was a disaster of a trip. Successful trips to me are supposed to be uneventful. No speeding tickets, no drifting into the next lane, no hitting the rumble strips. You know what? I'm going to push through. I'm not going to stop. If I had a normal trailer, I would stop, but this thing is an articulating multi-section. Forget that. I'm just going to keep going. Just saw that rest area right there. Had the diagonal pull-in parking spots. Those things are a nightmare with these trailers. Now that it's dark, I just have this feeling like, let's just get there. We're only halfway there. And in case you're keeping track, my Pop-Tart today was strawberry. I'm running kind of low on my Pop-Tart supplies. I need to run to Sam's today and get some more. I was really happy the last time I was at Sam's. They had they've been stuck with like pallets and pallets and pallets of just one flavor of Pop-Tarts. It was the brown sugar and cinnamon, whatever their brown sugar one is. If I ever want them to pay me and send me free stuff, I guess I should learn the names of their flavors, huh? But the last time I was at Sam's, they had like 3 different pallets of 3 different flavors. I was like, oh my gosh, and I didn't want to spend $30 on Pop-Tarts buying 3 huge multi-packs. So I didn't. I just bought one. The nice thing was they had a combo pack of different flavors. It was what the heck was it? They had one that was strawberry and blueberry, and they had one that was chocolate fudge and s'mores. That was the other one. So of course I bought. I'm not a huge fan of blueberry, just the flavor. So I bought the chocolate fudge / s'mores variety. My wife actually air fried a couple of Pop-Tarts last night for us for dessert. And it was actually, I don't know how to describe it. If it was delicious horribleness or horrible deliciousness. It was the s'mores flavor, but she air fried it like a couple minutes too much. Like I heard it ding. I'm like, hey, the Pop-Tarts are done. And she didn't go grab it. She's like, I'll get them in a sec. She waited like a minute or two too long. And when she brought it back out, it was like burned. But it was burned in the way that graham crackers burn when you hold them over the fire when you're actually making a s'mores. You ever had a burned graham cracker? How you get that? It's not a good burn taste. It's a chemical type burn taste. It's kind of hard to describe. But if you've ever burned a graham cracker making a s'more on a campfire, that's what these Pop-Tarts tasted like. It was kind of great, actually, because it was the pastry part that was burned like it was the graham cracker. You just got to try it. Go get yourself a s'mores Pop-Tart and cook it like a minute or two too long. Then you'll see what I'm talking about. tuck into line here and wait my turn. I'm sure my exit's coming up. We're only an hour away from our destination. If you like road trips like I do, you know that when you're about an hour away from your destination, it feels like you're there already. Take a nice long drive that's hours upon hours upon hours. The last 60 miles just fly by. I always love that feeling of getting close to your destination, especially if that destination is home. 41-minute video. That should make a good 20-minute clip. Well, I do apologize, everyone, for having to record this at night. I just didn't want to stop and park with an articulating trailer like this, so I hope you'll bear with me. I actually don't mind the glow of the dashboard. I think it looks pretty cool at night. You guys can be my travel agents looking for my treehouse rental for an overnight stay. Let me know what you find. Let me know if you'd ever want a treehouse or a dollhouse for that matter. I know I didn't talk about dollhouses too much, but it's not really my thing. I'd rather have a treehouse. Even if that treehouse is just a deck 20 feet in the air. 20 blah blah blah. Even if that treehouse is only just a deck 20 feet in the air. Stick around for the next video. I'll show you what this scenic viewpoint is one of these days. Come back and see what we do next time. See what kind of shenanigans we can get involved in. Thanks for riding along. I'm Old Guy Gamer. This is American Truck Sim. You guys go watch some more videos. I'll go play some more games. Bye.